The images released by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory were never meant to shake the foundations of astronomy. Yet that's exactly what they did. At first glance, they appeared ordinary, faint points of light scattered across the blackness of space. But hidden in those pixels was a phenomenon no scientist had ever documented before. The interstellar visitor known as 3I, ATLAS behaved in a way that defied every natural law. Within 6 minutes, its brightness surged not once, but 4 separate times. To casual observers, it looked like a harmless flicker. To the experts, it was a moment that felt like the universe itself had glitched. NASA tried to frame the event with a harmless term, non-gravitational acceleration. But for those who understood what that really implied, the phrase only deepened the dread. Because Atlas wasn't simply drifting through space. It responded. Its glow shifted precisely as telescopes were recording it. It accelerated in a vacuum where nothing visible could have pushed it. Its motion was too smooth, too efficient, nothing like a comet, asteroid, or stray debris. It moved with the precision of something following a path designed millions of years ago. When NASA published its routine data summary on November 17, 2025, no one expected the scientific storm that followed. Within hours, researchers worldwide realized this wasn't another ordinary interstellar object. Atlas brightened by a factor of 5 after passing the Sun, yet it shed no dust, no vapor, and produced no traditional tail. Even Japan's Subaru telescope captured the same instant flare, wrapped in a faint green glow exactly matching NASA's timestamps. There was no instrument failure. No camera defect. This flash was real. Then came the second anomaly. Instead of slowing down after slingshotting around the Sun, as every known comet does, ATLAS picked up more speed. NASA could only label the behavior as non-gravitational propulsion, a description that sent shockwaves through astrophysics. If gravity wasn't pulling it forward, then something else was. Yet there was no thermal burst, no gas plume, no energy signature. It accelerated as if pushed by an engine that left no exhaust, powered by a force no spacecraft on Earth has ever used. As investigators calculated the trajectory, the mystery deepened further. Instead of carving a chaotic path like other interstellar wanderers, Atlas glided perfectly along the ecliptic plane, the thin, invisible sheet where all major planets orbit. Its route mirrored the same spacing used for spacecraft performing planetary slingshots. The probability of this happening by chance? 1 in 5 million. NASA navigators recognized the pattern immediately. This wasn't drifting. This was navigation. Simulations revealed that, if Atlas were natural, it would have needed to eject almost 13% of its total mass to produce the observed acceleration, yet spectral readings showed no mass loss at all. Instead, the acceleration was steady and controlled, like two forces working together, one pulling inward toward the Sun, and another pushing Atlas forward along its precise path. Natural objects do not act like that. Then came the mineral data. NASA's infrared and X-ray scans showed unusually high nickel content but almost no iron, a combination nearly impossible in nature, because both metals formed together in stellar explosions. It was as if the object's material had been separated on purpose. Even stranger, Atlas contained only trace water, far too little to be a comet. That meant it likely formed in a hot, violent region, not a cold outer system. Its surface reflected a blue wavelength more intense than sunlight, and its polarized light behaved unnaturally, mimicking the signatures of polished alloys or engineered ceramics. A natural body would scatter light chaotically. Atlas reflected it like something built. Temperature readings added yet another impossible clue to the growing puzzle. The entire surface of the object radiated one perfectly uniform temperature, down to the smallest detectable patch. Natural bodies, comets, asteroids, even planetary fragments, always show hot zones and cold zones. Sun-facing regions heat up. Shadowed regions cool down. Surfaces crack under stress. But Atlas was different. Its temperature distribution was so flawless, so consistent, that it could only mean one thing. The exterior was a single, continuous conductive shell. A natural rock can't do that. An engineered surface can. Every comet ever studied fractures under heat. Ice sublimates. Dust is blown away. Surfaces split apart as sunlight cooks them unevenly. But Atlas didn't fracture. Didn't shed mass. Didn't flinch under the sun's glare. Machines don't break under conditions they were built for. Nature does. And yet, the most unsettling clues were still waiting in the data stream. As Atlas drifted deeper along its strange trajectory, telescopes began detecting ultraviolet pulses erupting from its surface, tiny, razor-sharp bursts of light, each lasting only a fragment of a second. The timing was unnervingly precise. 3 rapid flashes, a pause, then the same trio again. Always at 17-minute intervals. No comet emits UV pulses. No asteroid blinks in defined patterns. No known celestial event repeats with metronomic precision. Subaru in Hawaii saw the pattern. The European Space Agency saw the same timing. Independent teams, separate continents, identical results. This wasn't noise. This wasn't coincidence. This was deliberate. When the pulses were translated into radio frequencies, a chilling realization surfaced. The signal curve, the rise, the peak, the fall, was almost an exact replica of the 1977 WOW signal, the most mysterious singular radio burst ever captured by human instruments. 2 signals separated by nearly half a century, both tied by mathematics, both originating from the same region of sky, it was too precise to dismiss. And so a daring theory emerged, quietly at first, whispered among theorists and SETI researchers: the WOW signal may have been the greeting. Atlas might be the answer. A dialogue carried not through spoken words, but through decades of astronomical silence. NASA neither confirmed nor denied this idea. But their official phrasing, a synchronization of unknown origin, was the closest they'd ever come to admitting that something bigger was happening. Then came the event that changed everything. As Atlas slipped behind the sun, hidden from Earth's view, at least 3 solar observatories recorded a massive, faintly luminous structure hugging the solar corona. The shape was symmetrical, broad, incredibly stable, and moving in perfect alignment with Atlas, as if tethered to it. All 3 observatories captured the same geometry. The same outline. The same synchronized motion. NASA labeled it politely a non-standard solar event, but many astronomers recognized the implications immediately. This was no solar flare, no magnetic arc, no natural plasma loop. It looked like a structure. A shield. An escort. A vessel. And Earth was not left untouched. During those same days, military pilots, cargo crews, and naval radar systems documented glowing airborne objects drifting low over Earth's oceans. They moved like translucent rains, almost jellyfish-like, pulsing with a soft blue luminescence. Their lights blinked with the exact 17-minute cycle Atlas displayed. Radar tracked them. Visual observers confirmed them. Then, minutes later, each one dissolved into the sky without a trace. When Atlas eventually emerged from behind the sun, its brightness hadn't dipped, its temperature hadn't drifted, and its acceleration remained unnervingly precise. That consistency forced space agencies across the world to set aside rivalries and begin a level of cooperation humanity had never witnessed. Because this time, they all understood. They weren't studying a comet anymore. They were watching a design. The enigma of 3I, ATLAS now sat squarely at the intersection of astrophysics, engineering, and something far older, something humanity has no real vocabulary for. The object forced scientists, governments, and ordinary people to confront a possibility we've spent thousands of years imagining yet never prepared for. What if the impossible is routine somewhere else? Atlas behaves like no natural formation in the known universe. It reflects like metal. It moves like a craft. It pulses like a coded transmission. Its material composition suggests intentional construction by a civilization far older than ours, possibly predating our star itself. Maybe Atlas isn't attempting communication at all. Maybe the pulses, the navigation, the precision, are simply artifacts of its programming. A duty it continues to carry out long after its makers are gone. Machines do not forget their function. They do not question their path. They endure. And as Atlas continues its silent drift through the solar system, steady, controlled, accelerating with a grace no natural object could mimic, it leaves humanity with one truth it can no longer ignore. The universe is not an empty backdrop. It is an open threshold. And something beyond that threshold has finally revealed itself.